Hi, welcome to the Glam Life Podcast. My name is Victoria Rocca. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram. And if you don't, it really doesn't matter because I'm here for you on Spotify on Mondays. And today is a very special Monday because I have one of my best friends in the entire world here on the podcast as a guest today. And she is going to be giving you all of the secrets to her sales sauce. So if you feel uncomfortable when you are talking to someone on the phone or via email or in your DMs who's saying, how much? Or when are you available? Or can you do this price? And you're haggling, you're reducing your price, and you're not following up. If you find it almost impossible for you to open up a DM that happened a week ago and message that person and get them to book, if that gives you anxiety and yucky feelings, Mama Mindy is here to make you feel a whole lot better about it because she's done that for me. We kind of coach each other a little bit, which is my favorite part about being in this industry and having best friends who do the same thing as me. But also, Mindy is a professional mother. I always call her my feelings friend. If something is upsetting me, I'm going to call Mindy. We're going to talk it out because I have to talk out feelings. I've learned that through hanging out with Mindy. And also, Mindy can talk. I think Mindy could talk anyone off the ledge. And that's because she's a professional mother. Mindy has 7 children, 7. One is adopted. So listen, she was on a warpath. She said, I am having more kids. I'm going to have as many kids as I possibly can. I'm not going to call, I almost called you Midwest Mindy, but I think that's a porn star. But
Hi. This is
how
so
are
fun.
you?
So good. I'm nervous because we're supposed to have a bunch of tornadoes, but I'm not gonna think about that today.
Yeah, we're supposed to get the same weather system. So you guys, Mindy is originally from like the Midwest area, kind of a prairie girl, I would say.
Yeah.
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 But she's now a down south girly pop like me. And we are, I don't know, a couple hours apart states wise, but we're at least on the same latitude now. So
Mhm.
we're supposed to be getting this thing called like Stormageddon or something. I don't know. It's supposed to be a bunch of tornadoes and something else. I can't care about it. I haven't cared about it. I think you're panicking because, not panicking, but you're stressed because Roger's out of town.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I'm cleaning out the cabinet underneath the stairs because I don't normally have to do that kind of thing. He says get in the closet. I'm like, okay, let's go. Now I have to do it. So that's
Your
good
husband's
now.
told you to get in a closet a lot of times, huh? 7 kids. Get in the closet.
Maybe, maybe so.
Well, so Roger's traveling. He's in Japan.
Man.
What does he
Yep.
do?
Right. Right. It's a lot of
Computers?
Yeah, he's a tooling engineer for a plastics company.
Okay.
So a lot of math and feasibility studies and how do you do this? And no, you can't do that. And move this that way and lift this component over there. I don't know.
Okay. That's a lot of things I don't know what they are, but I know what you do. So you do permanent makeup
I do.
and you are, I've mentioned before, a master quilter. And I said that you would probably shy away from the word master. And
Mm,
you're my quilting mentor. And you are a professional mommy and you are really good at sales.
yeah, I surprised. I didn't see that one coming.
I did.
Um, I know, but you did. I'm like, how in the world did she know I would be good at this?
Clue everyone in as to what we're talking about.
So Victoria was my coach, and then she put me forward for a job to do high ticket sales. It did not necessarily come natural to me. It felt awkward at the beginning, but I loved it. Just loved the feeling of helping people. That's really what it comes down to because I can't sell something I don't believe in. So it was easy to sell something I had so much faith in because you were my coach. Like I
Mhm.
knew what it did for me and for my business and what that relationship could be like. I mean, you want that for everybody. So
Right.
I wanted to help people, but the sales part, it took a little getting used to. So if you're feeling like a fish out of water, you're probably in the right spot because it doesn't necessarily feel comfortable because we've all been sold to and we don't like that feeling.
Right.
So
So you've described
rejected.
that. you've described that feeling before as feeling like kind of slimy. Like when you hear used car salesman, you think Danny DeVito and Matilda, like you, no thank you. Before we start walking through like how you got from that feeling to now feeling like, this is your calling and you're helping people. Talk to me a little bit about how far it's taken you. So you have just completed a month away. So you and Roger have not just been apart for a month, for a week, you've been apart for a month now. So you flew to London, you've flown to Dubai, you've flown with me before. Where's your well, tell me about your last month first, and then I'm gonna ask you a question.
Tell me about my what?
Your last month of travel.
Gosh, it was so exciting. So, yeah, I always say this industry taking me places I would never have imagined, just doing eyebrows in the little village of Dix, Illinois, where I started. Um, but yeah, I had a friend who knows that I'm good at conferences, and that they have a company called Eternal Bond, permanent jewelry training, and
Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Katie.
doing their first conference in Dubai. And as crazy as this sounds, permanent jewelry is not in Dubai.
Really?
Um, it's unbelievable. I think there's one, maybe two people in the whole city that are doing it. So at this beauty conference of probably 4 to 5 thousand people, 95% of the people that I talked to had never heard of permanent jewelry before.
Is that a
That
real statistic or is that like your guesstimate?
that's absolutely real. Like I think on
You
day
you
one,
did like a tally sheet?
well,
I
maybe
make
not.
up my statistics. I don't know.
Got to be legit because I think we did 150 bracelets that day, and talked to a lot more people. But I bet there were less than 10 people the whole day who had ever heard of it.
In
So,
Dubai?
yes, yes, yes. I was like, okay, you say it's not here yet, but what does that mean? No, it's not there. It is not there. So that was a completely different experience. So I'm introducing people to something for the first time. So a very cold audience.
Well, that happens a lot with permanent makeup, especially when you run ads on Facebook. That's the problem with running ads. Everybody thinks, okay, I don't want to create a bunch of content. I don't want to spend all the time on organic marketing, create the content, engage with the, build a community, DM back and forth with people. They think I'm just going to run an ad. And the problem with that is that you get cold traffic. And if you can't convert warm traffic for people who follow you and know you and experience your content all the time, you ain't closing a sale on Facebook. And that's the number one thing that they ask. They say, what is this? Or they call it like micro channeling. And you're like, oh, you don't know what we're talking about.
Price, location, price, like you're a robot that has an auto. I mean, people do that.
They think
I
that it's going
don't.
to be an auto menu.
No, it's me answering there, girl. Like, hey, Susan, how are you? Happy Monday. And they're like, oh, crap. It's a real person. Didn't see that coming.
So,
I think
yeah. So when you first started selling yourself, you were selling for yourself, you were selling your own personal services. How did it feel when I made you, I probably told you you had to go into X amount of DMs and just strike up conversations, not pitch, but just strike up conversations. Is that something that you still use? Is that no longer recommended? I mean,
failure for me, epic failure. And I'm kind of, well, I thought I was an outlier at the time because my clients aren't on Instagram.
yeah.
They're, they're just not. So, they never really got anywhere because my people aren't on Instagram. Mine are on Facebook, and that's a whole different animal.
Well, now that we've kind of
But
figured out your ideal client profile, yeah, because there's a certain age bracket that never used Instagram. It's not that they're no longer there. It's not that they've
they never,
left because the platform sucks now. It's that they weren't there to begin with. If your clients currently are 50 and above, they were never on Instagram.
never, never. So it was awkward for me, and I never really got anywhere. So it was rejection immediately because like this isn't working. Not having success here, but I was still having success in other areas. So it was still a good muscle to exercise.
Well,
Um,
if you've been rejected 15, 20, 30, 40 times, what's one more, That's how you get over that anxiety of making the next call on your call sheet when you work a sales job. You got to lose a bunch of times before you get the sweet victory of a win.
get used to hearing no. That's the big thing. You have to get used to hearing no and being okay with it and not taking it personal, like they don't want me. Well, I mean, in permanent makeup, maybe they don't, but not taking it as like, well, there's more. My clients are out there. Not everyone's my client. I do believe that.
Yeah.
So he wasn't it. Next.
What did it feel like the first time you got a yes?
Oh my gosh, I remember this. This was so exciting. Um, you almost can't believe it. So I remember my first one with permanent makeup and my first one in my sales job. And permanent makeup, I was almost like, okay, so are we gonna, you want to come on Tuesday? Like I was just didn't believe that she was really gonna let me, she's really gonna let me cut her face.
Right.
Like, I really don't know what I'm doing yet. Okay, we're going to do this. And then with my sales job, I came out of the room where I was doing my call and I celebrated with my kids because they had seen me start doing these calls and wanting to do it so badly and to help people. And then the first one I got, we just all had a big dance party in the kitchen, and that was a lot of fun.
I have to tell you, so when I was a baby coach, like in my very first year of coaching, I had you as a student. That's how we met and became good girlfriends. But you had 7 kids and you would take all of your calls in the car in the parking lot of your shop, which you would drive, I think, like an hour to get to.
It was a
Um,
waste.
yeah, it was a long ways. So like just dedication on dedication on dedication. You have 7 kids at home waiting for you. I mean, back then, man, how old was Ben then? Young.
Yeah, like 5.
Yeah, so little kids and bigger kids, but still like 7 kids, and 3 of whom have 3, right? Have exceptional needs. Yeah, exceptional children. I love that you and Carla say that. So just like a lot of demand on you. Plus, you'd been a stay-at-home mom this whole time, which means that a lot of responsibility and a lot of the mental load of the home rest with you. So I'm sure that threw Roger into chaos of saying, I'm leaving, be back later. At the same time, as a foil of my student Mindy, I had another student, we'll call her Clara, because that definitely wasn't her name. I don't remember her name, but it definitely wasn't Clara, um, who said, "Oh, I can't do that, or I can't make those hours, or I can't take that many, I can't work on this at home, or I can't work on Canva for an hour in the evening. My children would never let me." And I said, "How old are your kids?" And she said, 15 and 17. And why, by the way, just to underscore it, when she was telling me no, 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 my children, I don't know, how old are my kids then?
Little, like Henry wasn't walking.
Yeah, so like a year and 2, something like
Yeah,
that.
they were lit.
They were quite literally physically hanging on me. I was sitting in this chair in front of me, and one was in my lap, and one was hanging on me while she was telling me, "My kids aren't cool like yours." My babies, you mean? Your kids aren't as cool as my babies? She's like, they would never let me work like that at home. I have to do things, during these certain hours, and that's it. And I can't do more than that. And I can't come to our coaching calls outside of that. And it was just no, 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 no. And then here's Mindy saying, "Yep, I'll figure it out." I mean, the Tina Fey school of thought, say yes now and figure it out later.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Clara's up to these days. I don't remember her first name to go and look her up because I had so many students at that time. I don't remember her name to go and look her up. But Clara, if you know that I'm talking about you, DM me and tell me how business is going.
How'd it work out?
How did saying no to every client who was interested in you work out? I would love to know. Meanwhile, Mindy just got back from Dubai. You you have 2 locations, one in
I do.
Alabama, one in Illinois. You have come to London with me previously. You went to Miami as well. Are you coming to London with me this year?
You don't have to talk to my husband about that because
Well,
that's
he's
in
in
like
Japan, so maybe we'll see each other on a layover and I can ask his permission.
maybe, maybe. I don't, I would love to. We'll just see
I
how
need
that
it.
works
You
out.
guys, the reason that people like Katie and myself who are representing our own companies want Mindy with us at a conference, I call it Conference Mindy. It's because she's super easy to talk to. She's very personable. And when you walk in and you don't know anyone in the room, You get a little anxious. Even people like me who like I don't know a stranger. I've never met a stranger. You walk in and you're like, okay, I'll just sit here for a little while until someone comes and chats with me. I'm just kind of sitting here. I should get up and introduce myself to 15 people. Like, no, I shouldn't. That's weird. It's annoying. I'll just wait. I'll just sit right here. I'll wait. And you go through all the things in your head, right? The same things that everybody else does. But when Conference Mindy is with you, she's like, I'm gonna go grab a coffee. Would you like anything? It's just very comforting to have Mindy with you. And also, I can remember faces, but I will forget names. So at conferences, my favorite move is when I meet someone that I want to talk to later, I like to take a picture of the two of us and then DM it to them. So it opens up a DM and I have a picture so I can remember who this was. And my brain will say, oh, this is what we were talking about, whatever. But I can't do that constantly. And sometimes I miss people when I'm on stage and I'm, giving my presentation or whatever. Someone will say, inexplicitly, I don't know, like oh man, I would love to chat with her, or I want something. Mindy is out there saying, oh, I know her, let me get your information. So it's like
Yep.
having a second set of hands. It's like having a second set of ears. Mindy is
Mhm.
just really, really good, and she's great at being the gatekeeper. So if there are
Yeah.
people who are not very serious and are probably going to waste your time, or if there are people who are just spying, doing a little corporate espionage, Mindy already knows about it. Because Mindy knows all, because Mindy is everywhere, always, all the time. She's in Dubai. She's in London. She's in Illinois. She's in Alabama. She's in Japan. She's not in Japan, but she probably should have gone.
I wish I could have. Next time.
So, how does one go from sitting in the car saying, I'll figure it out, to flying to Dubai as one of the premier salespeople in permanent makeup? How did this happen? Because you did not start off with confidence. You actually said, me? Are you sure? I can't do this.
Yeah, a lot of falling down and listening to my calls back. Like where did I go wrong there? Reviewing DMs.
Slow down. For everyone who's never done sales, what does that mean?
So let's like Monday morning quarterback. So let's like review the tape. Let's see
So
where did
when
the
you get on the phone and it says this call may be monitored for training purposes, that's the training purposes. You
that is the
literally
trade.
listen back to it and say, "Oh, that's where I dropped the ball."
Yeah, yeah. They really don't necessarily care so much what you say. It's more about whoever you're talking to and how are they stayed on script, went off track, lost you, didn't talked too much.
That's me. Oh yeah, I talked way too much.
Because I want to make you feel comfortable. So I do that with all of the words
Now,
and
is
all
this
of,
like mental jujitsu to force someone to buy something?
oh my gosh, no, really, it's a conversation. And as women, we're so good at this. This is why I really hate that there aren't more women represented in sales because sales is a conversation and you're helping someone come to a decision. If that decision is no, I'm totally okay with that. As long as they understand what it is that they're saying yes or no to. Many times I feel like your guard is up because you feel like, okay, I know I'm going to be sold to. This is a sales call. So your guard's already up a little bit and you're looking for like, where's the catch? How are you going to trap me into this? What's this going to cost me? Maybe I really don't want eyebrows. Maybe I don't need to trust you. So there's a lot of things that go into it from both sides. You're trying to help, and this person's trying to like not be taken advantage of. So
Right.
those are big extremes to come from, and to try to marry those two, um, it is kind of an art. You have to take some practice. So if you suck at it, that's okay. The way to get better is just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Don't say it's not for me. I'm like, you sell all the time. You sell your husband on why we're having Mexican food and not having pizza at home. Why I don't want to cook and why you're going to take me out or why you need to get stuff your, well, in my case, teenager into these pants today because he doesn't need to miss the bus. I'll get you a soda if you like get on the bus today. I'll get you a treat. So you're selling. All of those things are selling. We just don't call it that. We call it convincing, influencing, all of those
Manipulating.
things. Well, I would manipulate him onto the bus every day of the week. I don't care. Get on the bus.
Right now,
But that's what it is.
Andrew's best selling tool for Waylon is Pokemon cards. I'll
Find your
get
currency, man.
if you get
Find
an 8 out
your
of 8, I'll
currency.
get you Pokemon cards. Just do it.
I support it.
For Henry, for
That's
my Hen we each have a Henry. For my Henry, it's He wants to go and get prayer cards at Acadiana Religious Store. He wants to go and get a new prayer card.
I love that so, so much. I can do that. I
So
love
you
him.
said this to me. You said this to me a while back, or you may not have even been speaking to me. This may have been in a coaching session, but you said, "Oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought." But it was something that you said about sales that when you were just talking, I was like, "Oh yeah, ding ding ding." Well, I've heard you describe sales as matchmaking in the past, saying like, I'm not here to sell you any one thing. I'm here to listen and then match you to the offer that best fits what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah. Sometimes they think, especially if we're okay, let's talk about permanent makeup for a minute. If they think they want microblading, they don't necessarily know that's what they want or don't want. That's just
So
the word
common.
they
So
That's
common.
the word. That's the word they know. So, they'll ask me, do you do this? I don't say, oh, no, I don't do that. You're too old for that. I don't say that. They don't know what they need. They don't know what they need. I'm like, I do all kinds of different techniques, but this is a really customized service. And then you just educate them a little bit about what you offer and how you'll help them choose. I'm going to choose. I mean, really, I'm going to do what's best for them. But they don't know that. We'll choose together what's the best thing for your skin and your lifestyle and all of the things that go into that consultation before you actually perform the service. But they don't know that. They don't know what they don't know. And you educating them is giving them information and leads them towards a decision. And sometimes that decision is no or not yet. Typically, it's not yet.
Yeah.
Very seldom do you get a hard no. They usually leave nasty comments on my paid ad. Like, and then I send them to you. I'm like, literally, I just paid for you to say this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Scrolling,
I know
sister.
someone who does it cheaper.
Right?
Another
Yeah,
thing
listen to me.
Another thing that I've heard you say in a coaching session many times is that you have to be unattached to the outcome. And earlier you were saying, if the answer is no, that's fine with me. I think that's so smart to go into it just thinking like, let's just explore. Let's see what we learn about each other. This is like an exploratory session. See what could I actually do I actually have anything that it is that you need for this problem that you have? But if the answer is no, that's fine. You're unattached to the outcome. I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from, is this fear that I'm going to get rejected. If you go into it thinking, I might get rejected, whatever, it's not that I'm getting rejected. I might not change that. I might not have what they need, and that's fine.
Yeah, and understanding that oh no, I just lost perimenopause is fun.
Girl.
Perimenopause is my favorite. Oh, and I had two good thoughts too.
So unattached to the outcome.
Okay, that's hard to begin with, being unattached to the outcome, because if you're thinking, I got to pay rent. I got insurance that's due. Like I have bills to pay. I really need three new clients this week. Um, that's real. That's your reality. That is, don't shy away from that truth. It absolutely is true. But when you go into a sales call or a meeting like that, even if someone you're just meeting at the grocery store and you're talking to them about this, or even in your DMs, it comes across. They can feel that pressure, and then it's no longer about them. It's about you because
Yeah.
you have bills to pay. You have things to do. And they're like, girl, this is the tattoo on my face. I could give two shits about whether you're making
And
your
I
rent or
also
not.
have bills to pay.
It's my money. I need to know. But you can't go into it with that. But that's so hard. But that's helpful if I don't care if they don't say yes on the phone anymore. That's not entirely true. I can't say I don't care. I care. I really, really, really care. But my follow-up is good enough that like if this is something you're really interested in, we'll figure it out. We'll
So
figure it
let's
out.
talk about that. Let's talk about the follow up because no one does it. No one
I
does it.
know.
Why does no one do it?
It's hard, it's awkward, and it requires a system because it doesn't just happen. Because especially if you're paying for ads or you're doing a lot of DMing, you have a lot of messages. You can't just like, scroll back through on your business suite. I mean, going back a week, girl, you are like, it's a lot of pages and they get lost.
Yeah.
You can star some of them like, okay, don't follow up with this one, but how often are you going to do that? is that there are people, if they just reached out to you and you had a contact with them, you need to get back to them as soon as possible. If they don't respond again, get back to them again within 24 hours because they were a hot lead. You want to, not be a pest, but don't just leave it there. You get those messages from people who are like, hey, you left this in your cart. Yeah, I did. I forgot about that. I actually do want that.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me to go back and get it. So, 12 hours, 24 hours, 2 days, 4 days later, like, what is the system? It takes people, especially for cold traffic, 7 to 10 times where they're going to hear your name, whether that may not always be in DMs, but they need to have some type of interaction with you to believe, trust. And the more you're interacting with them, the more your content showing up in their feed.
Right. So that really ties in with all of the theory behind organic marketing, that you have to have a posting schedule, you have to show up regularly, you need to interact with your community, and then you're jumping in DMs. So there's actually a lot of contact that needs to happen before you're pitching to anyone. You can't just walk in and say, "Hi, I'm Mindy, buy my brows."
Put it away, girl. Put it away. It's out way too soon. Way too soon. Your listeners, I know, have heard that analogy about the whole dating thing. Like, you don't just whip out your dick on your first date. Like, hey, let's get
Please don't.
married.
That
Just
is called a sex predator.
stay
And
away.
that will get you a lifetime ban at Chili's.
And then you're having to change where you live. Like, it's all kinds of awkward. So yeah, you think that when you think about it that way, I've seen any reels where someone says if this is happening in real life, people like pop their head into a room and are like, "Hey,
Yes.
that's exactly what it's like." I do describe it often as, imagine you're at a party. This is small talk. It's awkward and uncomfortable for everyone.
Mhm.
But that's how you start getting into deeper conversations. You don't start out with like, "Hey girl, you're missing half of your eyebrows. Let me help you with that."
And wait, while we're talking about this, that does not mean that Mindy or I are telling you to open up a DM and say, "Hey, cute puppy." That is
No,
deceptive and gross. And
no,
it's gross. It's an MLM kind of thing. And I don't, you know how I feel.
yeah, it was a thing. Like, I used to tell people to do that. I did. Um, for specific things, but it's gotten so icky. It just
It's a
it
hey
feels
girly
icky.
DM. When you post your boyfriend for the first time and someone DMs you, "Hey girly," you know what they're about to tell you. They'd be, "Your man. That's y'all's man." "Hey girly." When
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
when somebody cold who's never talked to you cold DMs you and says, "Cute puppy, oh my God." Or
What do you want?
worse, what if it's not obvious? If they message you and say, "Oh my God, I love that dress. Where did you get that dress?" And then you answer them and say, "Oh, it's from Anthropology. It's so cute. I got it last spring, whatever." And you guys are having a conversation. And then they start trying to pitch you. It's
Yeah.
icky. I don't want to buy from you because I don't feel like you were being genuine. It feels icky. There was just an instance of this, and I talked about it on my episode last week, where a lady DM'd or text a friend of mine and said, "Hey, how's it going? We haven't connected in a while." They know each other. They used to work together or something like that. She's like, "We haven't connected in a while, but I was thinking of you. I hope your sweet girl is feeling better because her daughter has cancer." And then she says, "I was writing to tell you about an exciting opportunity," and pitches her an MLM. By the way, my friend is a fucking doctor. Do you think that a doctor whose daughter has cancer wants to shill your skincare bullshit for you? That was the most
That's
icky, disingenuous. I'm getting pissed all over again. I was yelling on last week's podcast, Melinda. I was pissed.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
They were like,
That's
"Oh, you
gross.
can't. Please, please, Victoria. I know I shared the screenshot with you because I'm pissed too, but like, don't call her, don't text her, whatever. She's really Catholic." No, she's not. No, she's
Henry
not.
Henry says
I
no.
said, "I'm literally raising the next pope, so fuck off with that."